Over the many months of this channel's existence, I have talked about a lot of animated movies and shows and whatnot. Some I reviewed are good, some I reviewed are bad, some I reviewed are eh. It's kind of all in between. But then there are those that stand out to be incredible. Masterpieces that I would rewatch anytime if I wanted to. Unless I've seen it like a billion times. Even if I've seen it a billion times, I would still watch it because it's that memorable and that good. So for this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing a top 10, I'm doing a top 20. But don't worry, I'm going to condense, I'm going to split into two parts. Part 1 is going to be uploaded on the 29th, and part 2 will be uploaded on the 1st of July. So without further ado, let's go. This is the top 20 best animated films in my opinion. I'm just going to leave it to best animated films because I don't want to seem it just too similar to my top 10. Yeah, you get the gist. Actually, and if your favorite films aren't on this list or there are pretty weird choices, don't worry. Leave it in the comments below of which films you would have liked to see on the list. But without further ado, let's go. Yikes. Number 20. Now I gotta admit, this isn't one of the happiest of films. It has a very bittersweet ending. But I mean that's what is really great about this film. It does look at the more realistic side of life and that not everything is sunshine and rainbows. A thing that Walt Disney Animation has become very popular too all time to be the happiest place on earth. But it's always great when they look at not so happy pieces of work. Like The Fox and the Hound. But then there's stuff like The Black Cauldron where it fails miserably at trying to be more gruesome and adult. But it definitely works with Fox and the Hound. It has great characters, a good story, beautiful animation, and an overall tone that makes it really realistic, apart from the animals talking. I have one gripe with this film. I think the old chief should have died. It would have made it more impactful. But then I think this should have been the first PG film by Disney Animation, not the friggin' stupid Black Cauldron. I made a My Thoughts Of episode about that if you want to watch that. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, this is a great movie. Highly recommend this. Number 19, Tom Poco. Yeah, but you weren't expecting this to be on the list, were you, huh? This is a very weird film. It's the weirdest film on this list by a landslide. But that's what's so great about it. Even for all its weirdness and WTFness, I still think this is a pretty great film overall. Tonally, it's completely insane. Like sometimes it's the funniest film from Studio Ghibli. Other times it's the most depressing film from Studio Ghibli. It's very back and forth and has an ending that really doesn't solve it that much. I'm not gonna spoil this, but it's a very bittersweet ending for a film like this. Like this. Of all things, to have a bittersweet ending, it's this. Because why not? But yeah, it has great animation, of course, with Studio Ghibli. A very great story, memorable characters. This is the funniest Studio Ghibli film I've ever seen. My only problem with it is its tonal shifts. It's very tonally awkward. But I think that's what's supposed to be about it. It's tonally awkward. I don't thought it was just like seasoning to make it better. I don't know. It's just yeah, this is a great film. Would highly recommend this, but not for what you expect. Yeah, this is very sus. Couple of scenes in this PG rated film. I'm not gonna say them here, but if you've seen the Pompoki, you know what I'm talking about. Number 18. This is one of the most simple and chill films I've. Did I seriously not give this film a proper introduction? Jesus God. I'm 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure is a great film. There's my intro. I accidentally put the intro. Forget it. This is a great film. It's insanely charming. And for a film, and get this, I don't like the sequel. I really don't like it. It's fine, but it's not. This is the most one of the most charmingly simple films from I've ever seen. Yeah, it's so bad, crap, insane that I just have to love it. It's so weird. It's so off the wall. It actually makes me laugh on multiple occasions. The Thunderbolts is such an egocentric a hole who was literally the best character in the movie, apart from Patch, who was a really good character, and how he goes from a cowardly tiny dog to a very courageous dog, sort of, or something like that. But yeah, this is a great film. Would highly recommend this, and it completely ignore my terrible intro to this film. Number 17, Fantasia 2000. Yep, I'm putting the sequel this high, even though the sequel is very much hated by a lot of people. I love this movie. It's not as good as the original, not by a long shot, but it's still a great film nonetheless. It is. I think Fantasia is a case of a film that can be recreated but never duplicated. Let's get the obvious thing out of the way. The celebrity scenes, they're terrible. They're awful. I hate them. Sometimes they're amusing at times, but most of the time they're unbearable. They they're really what drags the film down from a 9 out of 10 to an 8.5 out of 10. But apart from that, I cannot actually think of anything wrong with this movie. It is that great. I love it. The actual songs of the scenes for the film are really well animated as well. They combine lots of different styles. 2D, 3D, Al Hirschfeld, lots of different styles, yeah. And they try to be similar to like the original, where there's like a abstract for for the first number and then big finale for the last. It's very amusing. I love this movie. It's not as good as the original because of the goddamn celebrities, but yeah, this is a great film. Would highly recommend this. Number 16. I'm just gonna say now, the original Toy Story is overrated, but it is the funniest one. But this movie, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, this is one of the best Pixar films. Like, oh my goodness, it is absolutely amazing. Like, I actually used to think that this film was okay when I was very young, but now I praise it as a cinematic genius. Yeah, it may not be the most complex film, but it is. Not, it may not be the most complex, but it is still compelling in many ways. Jesse's backstory is very heartbreaking, and it is very harsh to see one of the characters be a twist villain. I'm not gonna say who, but if you've seen this film, you probably know who it is. Yeah, the animation hasn't really aged that well, but this is 1999, and it was the fifth ever computer animated film. So I mean, it still looks fine. It looks okay, but everything else I love. The story is great. The characters are memorable and funny. Good God, this movie is funny. Not as funny as the original, but still very funny. I love this movie. I would highly recommend this. Mainly for the comedy and compelling emotions that this film portrays. It's just a great time that anyone can enjoy, hopefully. Number 15, The Rescuers Down Under. Oh yeah, we're moving up to, I give this film a 9 out of 10. Oh yeah, we're going up to the 9 out of 10s. And we're not even a quarter way through the list. Ah yeah, baby. I love this movie. Yeah, the CGI may not age that well, but that's my only gripe with this film. Oh yeah, and also, Cody is a complete dumbass. He, the main character, the main villain played by George C. Scott says, "Oh hot damn, it sure is a shame that your pretty eagle friend is now dead. Well, I'm just sad that those eggs are now left by themselves. I wonder who is gonna go down to those eggs and see if they're still alive." Then this dumbass goes down there and actually believes all of it. And the villain follows him in a large ass tank. Like seriously, what the hell? That is so obvious. Yet this kid has an IQ of 0, and he's even like doesn't even have an Australian accent. But yeah, I better get this fast. Yeah, it's a great. But apart from that, I love this movie. It has fantastic animation, thrilling action, memorable characters, and a great story overall. I really like it. It's an improvement over the original by a long shot. I would highly recommend it. Let's move on. I'm running out of time. Number 14, Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Yeah, I love this movie. It's incredible. I don't care that that's sometimes made for younger audiences. I don't care that Mull is annoying. I don't care that this film bombed at the box office. All I care about is the film itself, and it is marvelously beautiful. It's obviously made for much older kids in mind, but man, but now, the stuff for younger audiences can get into people's heads the wrong way, but the stuff for older kids, the animation, the storytelling, the characters, it's all incredible. I absolutely love the hell out of this movie. It's thrilling, it's exciting, it's compelling, it's storytelling at its finest. I love it. You know I should probably do a review of this someday, a my thoughts of episode. So I'm gonna do that someday. Number 13. Mother Truckin' Tasia. Good lord, this film is amazing. It is stunning. It is beautiful. It is one of the longest animated films I've ever seen in my life. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes. Like, good lord. But yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The racial stereotypes. Especially in the Nutcracker Suite and the Pastel Symphony. Yeah, that stuff is very iffy, and I don't know how they got away with that back in the 1940s. But hey, I don't. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a politic who just does not care about any race at all. I'm actually a good person who cares about who thinks everyone should be equal, black, white, gay, anything. Why does this talk? Why did this lead to a philosophical civil? I speak English. Yeah, going back to Fantasia, this is just a beautiful movie. It has amazing animation for 1940, risque elements, thrilling action in this movie, and it's an all-around fantastic film. It is in the name. Fantasia is fantasiastic. That joke worked better in my head. Number 12. Wally. Yeah, I love this movie. The power of silent storytelling portrayed here is really amazing. The first half of this movie is some of the best I've ever seen in any film. It is absolutely magical. The way these robots, these mostly silent robots, are able to get off so much emotion with little to no words. And the complex romantic relationship between Wally and Eve is really compelling, and I really like that. And yeah, the human stuff in the second part is really good as well, but not as good as the first half on the deserted Earth. And Otto is fine as a twist villain, not great, but just fine. But this film is still a fantastic movie. I really love it, and I would highly recommend it. It's silent and simple storytelling at its finest in the first half. Number 11. Wolfmother flippin' walkers. What can I say about this film that no one else has already said 100 times before? It's amazing. You all know it's amazing. It has some of the best 2D animation I've ever seen. I love movies that are like from different countries, animated movies. This is actually an Irish animated film, and I'm half Irish, so yeah, I love this movie for that. But it's also really great and has a complex friendship between the two main characters. It has stunning animation that has a very unique visual style, great music, it has a very dark tone, and I really like that. This is what PG films should be, dark and mysterious. Unlike how Inside Out got a PG rating, I'm still baffled at how that got a PG rating, but I digress. This film is fantastic. I love it. You know why it's great. It's an absolute masterpiece. It has one of the best trailers I've ever seen for any movie. I would have made it my favorite animated movie, but it wasn't that great. There were still some things holding it back. I wish it could have gone even darker, but I know they couldn't do that for a film like this. But I still think it's a pretty great film overall and deserves all the attention it gets. I love it, and I really hope for it to get more attention and recognition after this video. And that is the first part of this part 2 of top 20 animated films that I've seen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And you get to 130 subscribers by the end of the month. And get ready because on July 1st, I'm going to be uploading part 2. Goodbye.